real quick, as the statistics for this last year in 2019, we booked almost 78,500 people into our jails in the county. Foreign-born individuals was 7,800. ICE requests and or detainers that they made to us is 692. We notified ICE on 83 inmates. They fit the criteria for us to notify them at the time of their release. And this number is from ICE. 221 ICE arrests occurred either in the lobby or on the property of our facilities. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions of the sheriff? We do have some requests to speak on this. The first is Raul Rodriguez.
It's very important that we express that we support ICE. According to my sign, if you can see, we support ICE and we love ICE. You know, it's terrible that we have laws like the Trust Act and SB 54 that violates the rights of federal and state agencies to work together. I think it's unconstitutional when these types of laws do not allow these agencies to work together to apprehend criminals who are basically putting other American citizens in danger. SB 54 is a terrible law because we have had so many American citizens murdered by illegals in this country. We have laws that makes it a point that if you're in this country illegally, you need to be deported. And that's what ICE does. They deport those in our country illegally. Another fact that I like to make is that we support law enforcement. Those that work with illegal immigration, federal immigration laws. Also, it's important that we as Americans continue to support not only our law enforcement, but ICE agencies. I hope that eventually they will take the time to reinstate 287G, which will allow these agencies to work together so that they can apprehend these criminals in our country. And it's very important that we stand up to these laws that do not work for the American people. Once again, we support ICE, and we want ICE and other law enforcement agencies to work together to keep Americans safe. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments. Mike McCoy.
I'd like to say something from, this is from the Epic Times. In fiscal year 2019, ICE agents had charged and convicted 1,900 homicides, 1,800 for kidnapping, 12,000 sexual offenses. Those are, I would assume, are little kids. I don't know. 5,000 sexual assaults. Those are rapes. 5,000 rapes. 45,000 assaults. 67,000 crimes involving drugs. 10,000 weapons charges. And 74,000 DUIs. According to this article, 85% of all the people that ICE has contact with have, these are illegal aliens now, 85% of them have criminal convictions on their record. They have criminal records. Many of them have pending criminal charges. Now, we've got, according to the Pew Research, they have between 4.5 and 7 million people who are on visa overstays. These people are marked for deportation. They all have deportation orders. On top of that, ICE has 1 million backlog of illegal aliens to be deported. That means right now there are 8 million, a backlog of 8 million people to be deported in our country. And you guys are kneecapping ICE. You should be ashamed of yourselves. This is a public safety issue. It's not a political issue. We're talking about murder and rape. There is a tsunami of crime coming out of the illegal alien community. This is what you get from open borders. So I hope you're all real happy with yourselves. These are a lot of dead people. I belong to the Remembrance Project. I've made friends with people whose loved ones have been murdered. And they're all violent murders. All these people die violent deaths because of open borders and people refusing to work with ICE.
Thank you. Robert Hibbertson.
My name is Robin Vidston, and I am with the Remembrance Project. We honor American citizens who've been murdered by people in our country illegally. We appreciate the efforts of our San Bernardino County Sheriff, but we believe that all criminal aliens, which is what the sanctuary state law deals with, should be turned over to ICE and they should be deported. I'm holding up here the image of Officer Singh. He was murdered while on duty on Christmas Day by a man who had been in and out of county jails. He was murdered when he performed a routine stop. Now, what I want the public to know is this man had a 1-year-old child who is now growing up without a father. Again, he was murdered by a criminal alien. If you can see this quilt to my left, these are our mothers murdered by criminal aliens. All of them had records. Again, these are people committing crimes on U.S. soil that are in and out of custody. This is a Border Patrol agent, Robert Rosas. He was murdered by gang members crossing the border. The sanctuary state law is a law that harms our public safety. It's an issue of public security. Our state is allowing criminal aliens to be released back into our communities to commit more crimes. Again, all of these American citizens you're looking at, they would be with us at this moment if our laws were enforced. If at the county level, the criminal alien was turned over to ICE and eventually repatriated to the home country. We do appreciate that our county sheriff is working with ICE to the extent that they are, which is far superior than, for example, LA County. So we do appreciate that effort, but we would call upon the sheriff to reinstate the 287G program. This is a program that allows local law enforcement to partner with federal agencies and communicate and work together. Again, this is an issue of public safety. We're losing American citizens because criminal aliens are being released back onto our streets. Thank you.
Yes, I'm just here to support ICE and our law enforcement, and I also agree that that we need to make sure that we follow our federal immigration laws and that we support the reinstatement of 287G in San Bernardino County, and all criminal aliens in the custody of law enforcement in San Bernardino County should be turned over to ICE. I always support our law enforcement, always.
Thank you for your comments. Cyrus Ojedi.
Good afternoon. Hope you guys are doing well. Let me give you a prime example of why I support ICE. Now, congressional candidate Agnes Gibboney ran, I believe, for this district solely because of the fact that a previously deported illegal alien came back and struck his son. Now, if the illegal alien was deported efficiently, then, and the border was secure, and ICE would have done their job, then her son would have been alive to this day. So you may argue, well, people who are not here legally commit less crime. But the fact is, a lot of crimes would have been prevented. And my other concern is why we need to support ICE is that we have someone, depending on how these elections are going to turn out with the lawsuits, that Kamala Harris, one of the most radical senators, and it's likely if Joe Biden's going to get in, they're going to put Kamala Harris. Just look at Biden's health. She compared the ICE to the Ku Klux Klan. That is a disgrace. They are not a race-baiting agency. They're there to enforce the law, to make things fair. Because if so, then what is the point of citizenship? What is the point of green cards? What did my parents go through all this? It's not just a fancy piece of paper. And the other thing I just wanted to point out, this isn't just a public safety issue. This is a corruption issue. Because they know by pumping more of these aliens in, it's going to directly or indirectly boost political support for politicians. And it means very likely they can play identity politics and increase their chances of winning elections. So what I'm really concerned about is the corruption and also the resource management. And when I talk about housing, the question is, why do we need more people in our state and our country when we can't take care of our own? That we have a housing crisis. So Kamala Harris is talking about, oh, we got to give tax credits so people can pay their rent, but yet her own state has a housing shortage, and you have laws and regulations that make it difficult to increase the supply of housing. And at the same time, she wants to, I assume, open the borders, keep the people who are not legally here to stay. How does this work? No wonder prices are so high. So this is about supply and demand, meeting the needs of the American people, but more importantly, this is a public safety crisis. Look, MS-13 is real. This is not just some made-up name. They have organizations, they have setups all over America. And we can assure you that they're giving massive amounts of support and even donors to many of these politicians. Follow the money. Look what this is about. Look at all the dirty people and the elites that are behind this. People come first.
That's time.
Thank you for your comments.